let me make the case for the Patriots. Not that I'm picking the Patriots, but let's give them their due. That was about 5 years ago. Cam Newton was a young man. Since then, he's fallen completely out. He's not a celebrity anymore. He got replaced in Carolina. He's not making any money in New England. He's on a 1-year deal. I don't think he's the same type of egotistical player he was when he was 25. Also, the fact that he has the ability to scramble makes this an interesting matchup because we saw what Carson Wentz did. Carson Wentz is a better athlete at this point than Cam Newton, but Cam Newton can still run around. He doesn't have a great wide receiver to throw to, but neither did Carson Wentz. So that's one way that it can be a game. But then I would expect the Niners defense to play well against Cam Newton and keep the Patriots to less than 20 points. The issue is the Niners offense, Dad. I mean, they have the better quarterback, but it's not like Jimmy looked that comfortable and confident in the last game. And he's going against Bill Belichick, who knows him better than anyone. And the people who have had success against the Niners recently are the Belichick disciples. Like, I don't know if you're aware, but the Miami head coach, Brian Flores, was, he was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. So what being Belichick had figured out on his own, but all he has to do is watch the Miami film and say, oh, okay, well, right there. A couple of things that Miami does, they're constantly using different fronts with their defensive line, which just means that the Niners have to get to the line of scrimmage and say, okay, you block him, you block him, you block him, and like assign it. And the center has to do that, and he keeps messing up. It was Ben Garland. And a lot of times against the Dolphins, you see a guy get totally unblocked and just crush Jimmy Garoppolo. It was a communication thing because they're constantly using different combinations up front that the Niners haven't practiced against. That's part of it. The other thing is the coverages they use. They use aggressive man-to-man coverage. They put the cornerbacks right in the wide receiver's face, not something the Rams didn't do. And the whole idea is don't let people be wide open right away. Make Jimmy Garoppolo hold the ball for a couple of seconds and go to a second read, maybe. And if you can do that, he gets jittery. You have a chance. You saw what he looked like against the Dolphins. So the Niners offense are going to have to be prepared for a defensive game plan that eviscerated them less than 2 weeks ago. They're a very well-coached team too, but it's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Iggy, I'm going to add one thing. Excuse me, I'm coughing. You say when Belichick looks at the Dolphins film, he's going to call Flores.
Exactly.
He's going to. What do you mean? Look at the film. He's going to say.
Who's to say Flores didn't call Belichick before the game and say, Bill, what do you suggest?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, these people are friends. Right. They're on the phone like you would be on the phone with your friend.
True.
What did you see? I'm planning on doing this. What do you think? I mean, this stuff goes on.
Right.
Do it.
Another reason that this game is going to be interesting is the Jimmy factor. I've just been watching the film this morning, and he made some nice throws, but he is still a little shaky. He's still a little shaky. And what Shanahan did in that game was make things as comfortable for him as possible. It's like putting training wheels back on the bike. But as soon as the training wheels come off, it was like I mean, this season, when he throws the ball more than 15 yards past the line of scrimmage, he's 5 for 12. And when he throws the ball more than 20 yards past the line of scrimmage, he's 0 for whatever. So it's very much controlled, kind of like a John Gruden passing attack. And to beat the Patriots, you might have to throw the ball more than 5 yards, 10 yards down the field. So I'm not saying they can't do it, but I think Jimmy needs to take the next step. They can't just do the same thing they did against the Rams and win.
Iggy, what about Mostert being out?
That's a big deal, too. Even if he's not averaging 6 yards a carry, he ran the ball 16 times in the first half and controlled the game, I think. I mean, you can't hand the ball to Deebo Samuel 16 times in the first half. You can't hand it to Jerick McKinnon 16 times in the first half, but you can hand it to Mostert, and he did well, and now he's hurt. And now it's like, well, will Kyle Shanahan feel like, will he get away from the run game if it's not doing well? Will he stick with it and get to 35, 40 rushes without Mostert? I don't know. And if they don't, now you're asking the offensive line to pass protect Jimmy Garoppolo to – yeah, it's tough. So if they lose the game, we could pick out 5 reasons why they might lose this game right now. But the fact that they're going against Cam Newton, he doesn't have a great wide receiver to throw to. I think the Niners defense once again should carry him to victory because Robert Saleh is doing an even better job than he did last year.
I want to say, I'd like to emphasize that Saleh takes a lot of heat for losses. He's a very good coach. I mean, I'm really impressed with him. He is thinking, if you think of it as chess, he's often ahead of the offensive coordinator. He's often a move or 2 or 3 ahead. I think he's going to make Cam Newton look like the chump he is.
I agree. What's so impressive about Saleh, real quick, he's evolved incredibly in 4 years. when he came to the Niners, he'd never been a coordinator, and he basically just installed what he learned in Seattle, the Seattle Pete Carroll defense, which is a certain thing. There's like 5 guys on the defensive line. You play cover 3 all the time, and that's what it looks like. They don't do any of that anymore. I mean, they do it a little bit, but they have a 4-man line. They don't play cover 3 that much. They play a lot of man-to-man coverage, a lot of man-to-man coverage. I mean, I don't want to get into too specific, but he's basically made his own defense by his 4th season here. He's not like when Vic Fangio was with the Niners, he was about 60 years old. He'd been a position coach since the 80s. He'd been a coordinator 2 times before. He had kind of like mastered his craft. Robert Saleh's just learning his craft, and he has gotten so much better. Last year, you could be like, well, you know, he does some interesting stuff, but he's got Nick Bosa, D Ford, DeForest Buckner. How much does he really have to do? This year, his best player is a middle linebacker who makes an impact, but he's not like a sack guy or a guy who's going to cover wide receivers. And they still have a top 5 defense. If I were thinking about hiring Robert Saleh as a head coach last year, I'd be even more impressed this year.
Okay. Well, again, so I'm picking the Niners in this game, and my last word on this is please don't trust me on this. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I don't really feel confident enough to propose a wager with you. I think we're just going to let this one happen.
I can't lose a $55 bottle of wine every week.
No,
I can't do it.
No, the Cohn Zone does pay well, but not that well.
Oh, the Cohn Zone pays? Because I never got paid.
We just got $5. I'll split it with you.
Okay, $250. I just got paid $250. All right.